Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I have to admit I'm getting a little tired of this. Every time I move my XRP around from one wallet to another, or maybe I move it to an exchange, the crypto media is always writing an article about it. So look, earlier today I moved my 49 million XRP to a leading cryptocurrency exchange, and dailyhodl.com here is writing a piece about it, getting all but my business. Look at this headline: 49,999,995 XRP sent to leading crypto exchange as Bitcoin whales move 59 million in Bitcoin. Lots of activity. How about that? So I'm going to dig into this. I've also got an article that I will be covering towards the end of the video, also from Daily Hodl, titled Australia's oldest bank, not Bitcoin, embroiled in massive money laundering scandal. And isn't that funny? I remember, who was it? Who am I thinking? I think Steve Mnuchin. He was talking about, he literally said this, and it's just like one of those things where it's like, my head explode, like you want to rip out your hair, where he's like, oh, no, I'm pushing back against the idea that people are using the United States dollar for illicit activities, and I'm paraphrasing there, but he was literally conveying that message that, no, the United States dollar isn't used for that, while the whole time expressing tremendous concern about nefarious illicit activities taking place thanks to cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin. It's stupid. Look, I tell you what, I don't do illegal stuff, because then you're just being you're kind of being a jerk. Don't do that. Like, don't do bad stuff. But if you're going to, maybe use printed money, which is harder to trace than Bitcoin, which is not anonymous. Just saying here. Before I speak any further on these topics, though, if you would please ever so delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, get down with your bad self and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, where we be partying here every day. So whale watchers are tracking a series of large crypto transactions. The Crypto Whale Monitor Whale Alert spotted a movement of, I'll just round it, 40, well, we can say 50, right? Can I round up, right? 50 million XRP worth over $11 million from an unknown wallet to the Luxembourg-based exchange Bitstamp on Tuesday. The transfer caused a stir on Twitter, with onlookers wondering if Bitstamp is shuffling around its assets for security purposes, or if a trader is gearing up to sell. And so you can see here on the screen right here, Whale Alert, 49,999,995 XRP, transferred from unknown wallet to Bitstamp. And I did go ahead and pull it up. I was just kind of curious. So this is the original tweet on Twitter, along with, here we go. Here's BitHop. And this is fun. By the way, if you guys haven't done this, this is kind of fun to play around with. You can even punch in your own address, and it's just cool because it's public ledger. You know, it shows the entire transaction history. And so it looks like this wallet started, I guess it was August, right? Yeah, August. That's when it was activated, August 6th of 2019 here. And I will say, and I still think that as you continue to see adoption of XRP being utilized as bridge currency via on-demand liquidity, which of course is part of RippleNet, you're going to see a lot of big I really do believe that this is going to become the norm. I really do, because and you know, perhaps quantities larger than this. Well, maybe actually at some point XRP will be worth so much that maybe you don't need as much. So maybe I retract that part of it. Right? Maybe you won't need to see quite so many years. But there's going to need to be a constant shuffling of XRP the world over, because you can even imagine, and this is a great example. So the first couple corridors that Ripple's been tackling for the adoption of XRP to be used as a bridge currency, of course, as many of you out there I'm sure are well aware, would be Mexico and the Philippines, were the first two that really dove in. A low-hanging fruit, as many at Ripple have stated it is, just because there's a lot of friction there, and there's a lot of volume, really, for remittances. But most of that's leaving the United States to Mexico and to the Philippines. And so you can imagine the way that on-demand liquidity works. All of think about the formerly XRapid, now called on-demand liquidity-enabled exchanges. You know, there's Bittrex in the U.S., and then there's Coins.ph in the Philippines, and there's Bitso in Mexico. You know, there's only so much currently, only so much XRP on Bittrex in the United States. So if most of the money flow is going out of the United States, there has to be a reshuffling at some point. So large quantities of XRP are going to have to continually be moved around. But perhaps right now they're being done in a number of small batches that aren't necessarily catching people's attention, which is why for this particular one, given that we don't know exactly what wallet this came from. It is reasonable to speculate that perhaps it is for security purposes that they're moving this amount of XRP around, or who knows, maybe there really is some massive whale out there that's actually ready to sell a bunch of XRP. Seems like a weird time to do that, though, if you've got that much XRP. I would have thought that people that have that much XRP, maybe they're in it for the longer haul. But there's also all sorts of Bitcoin activity occurring here as well. And I'll just mention it real briefly. I don't want to talk too much about it. But there's some biggest Bitcoin holders on the ledger are surfacing. In the last 24 hours, 8,312 Bitcoin worth $59 million has been sent across the cryptoverse in 6 separate transactions. 3 of those transactions involve Bitcoin moving onto an exchange where they could be sold on the open market. And then the other 3 transfers are identified as movements from crypto exchanges to unknown wallets. Who knows? Maybe they're going to hodl. I don't know. And then they got 6 transactions listed here, but I don't want to delve in any further. I just thought I'd mention it since it's in the article. Next here, this is a tweet from HODLstyle, at HODLstyle on Twitter here, who tagged me. And I like this. And he writes this: "Can someone say to the moon, Lambo?" ? And tagged me. And this is awesome here. So first of all, shout out to you, HODLstyle. I do appreciate you tagging me here. And take a look at this. I saw this in my Twitter feed just the other day. Lamborghini has some sort of new ridiculous car. I mean, it looks like... Actually, now I've seen those lights on it. I don't know if the Lamborghini actually has those or that's just like a Photoshop thing, but that looks like Tron. But no, I tell you what, when I saw the reveal, there was a video clip because it was just going all over Twitter just because, win Moon, win Lambo, that whole thing. But anyway, during the unveil, I saw the front shot and I was like, because I didn't know what I was seeing. I'm just scrolling through. I'm like, what the hell's getting unveiled here? And then I was like, is this some sort of Batmobile? What's going on? I literally didn't realize, oh, it's a new Lamborghini. It looked to me, and not as much in this picture, but if you saw the unveiling, you know what I'm talking about. And it was a black one too. I was like, oh, that looks like the Batmobile. And I was like, oh, that's a Lamborghini. But anyway, what you're seeing here on the screen is an astronaut looking at this new beautiful Lamborghini on the moon with the Earth in the background. So, when moon, when Lambo, you ask? I know the answer. Friday, 2 p.m. Be there, be square. All right, next I got this next article from Robert Thompson, who tagged me along with fellow XRP YouTuber, the Digital Asset Investor. So I wanted to give you a shout out, Robert. Thank you very much for tagging me. I do appreciate it. And let's go ahead and dig in here. Australia's oldest bank, not Bitcoin, embroiled in massive money laundering scandal. Australia's oldest bank, Westpac, is under fire. The Sydney-based financial services provider, established in 1817 and one of the country's big 4 banks, is accused of violating anti-money laundering, that's AML, and counter-terrorism financing, CTF, laws. Official regulators from the Australian Transaction Reports and Analysis Centre, AUSTRAC, have applied to federal court for civil penalty orders against Westpac. According to a release, the civil penalty orders relate to systemic non-compliance and corrupt correspondent banking relationships with Westpac, violating the AML/CTF Act on more than 23 million occasions. Yeah, I gotta tell you, that sounds like more than a little bit of an oops the doodle. 23 million occasions. The company may be facing large fines as it allegedly failed to report millions of cross-border payments, including high-risk transactions, to countries in Southeast Asia, where investigators believe the transactions may have been associated with child exploitation activities. That is awful. Somebody's going to lose their job. That's terrible. Austrac CEO Nicole Rose says that the agency decided to initiate civil penalty proceedings after performing an extensive probe into Westpac's non-compliance. And here's a quote now. Westpac's oversight of its AML/CTF program intended to identify, mitigate, and manage the money laundering and terrorism financing risks of its designated services was also deficient. These failures in oversight resulted in serious and systemic non-compliance with the AML/CTF Act. Following the allegations, Westpac CEO Brian Hartzer announced his resignation on Tuesday. That part's not surprising, right? Says Hartzer, quote, "As CEO, I accept that I am ultimately accountable for everything that happens at the bank. it is clear that we have fallen well short of what the community expects of us and we expect of ourselves. While Bitcoin is often, this is the article now, while Bitcoin is often maligned for its link to the dark web and criminal transactions, with a recent bust by U.S. and Korean authorities who traded cryptocurrency transactions that led to the indictments of at least 36 people, the traditional banking system continues to be the biggest conduit for money laundering and illegal money transfers. That is true. It's one of those things where people just want to, well, those with, motivating factors that are outside of the world of blockchain and crypto. They just want to they just want to use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as scapegoats for various problems. And it's nonsense. Like the degree to which cryptocurrencies are being used for nefarious activities, it's a minuscule percentage. I even talked about that in a recent video. Like, fine, XRP can be used for that too, but it was like 0.2% of transactions or something like. It's something really stupid low. And, that can happen with anything that has value. It really, just anything that has value can be transferred and used for terrible reasons anyway. So, to me, it's a bogus argument to say cryptocurrency shouldn't be here. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Did you know that? Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!